Hi and welcome to this video where I will tell you all the books I read while I was gone from the booktube sphere and that I was extremely busy, extremely stressed and extremely tired and mainly very moody. Like, I'm a mood reader, but my tolerance was zero. So a lot of post books, a lot of DNF, and some very good reads though. I mean, come on. So let's go through all the books I read in February and March. If you've seen my January wrap-up video, you know that I had a very strong start of beginning of the year, which was also true for beginning of February. I read, first of all, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. LaRue? Why would I mean, my native language is French, I know how to pronounce that. So, Addie LaRue, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but the title is also becoming invisible. I know that it was a book that was extremely populated, not that, a book that was very trendy apparently at some point on booktube and all the book accounts fair, and I know that a lot of people loved it and a lot of people also didn't like it, and I went to read why people did not like this book. I think they were expecting some high epic fantasy where a lot is going on and you have a lot to go through and action and everything. And if you want action, that's not the book for you. Definitely, you will not like it. If you don't like slower paced book with more reflective, I want to say dramatic, not dramatic, but reflective and a bit more depressing. There is the subject of depression, there is subject of what the purpose of life is. Why are we alive? What's the point to be alive? And are you really alive if nobody remembers you? So, I mean, it's really more a reflective book about what's the purpose of life with some magical realism. If you want some fast-paced, very plot, action-packed book, that's not it. That's not the one. And me, I was in a mood for something slower and more reflective. Like, the action-packed books are nice, but sometimes I do want something slower. Especially in February, I don't remember where my head was at, but I wanted something slower after the Road of Bones books and Dragon Cursed and all those more action. If somehow you don't know what this book is about, you follow Addie LaRue, who was born in the late 1700s. She lives in France. She was supposed to get married because, you know, it was the 1700s, so you have to get married because, well, that's just how life was, and she didn't want to get married. And she meets the devil and make a pact with him that, okay, I will not get married and I want to live forever. I think I read it a few months ago. I hope I'm remembering right. And he said, sure, but nobody will remember you. And he's like, well, sure. Yeah, she's invisible because nobody remembers her. What I really loved about this book is not only that you're talking about what's the point of life and is it worth it if nobody remembers you. What I really enjoyed also is if you are French or if you have any knowledge of French history, because she's French and the book starts in the 1700s, but you have time jumps to 2014. Like, you follow some part of her life through all those 300 years. And it's really interesting because you also have a glimpse of the 300 years of French history. So, of course, it's not the main focus on the book, but you can see how the world has changed and so many things has happened in 300 years. It's not a deep dive. Like, again, it's not a deep dive into French history, but you have those little glimpses and little point of view of how it was and how it felt like and how things changed. I don't know, I really liked it. Yes, the pacing was a bit slow because it's not action. Yes, it was very descriptive, but it just made it good. You have those time jumps, which I like. I like book with time jump, like especially when it's a long time ago, and now you're in modern times. It was really fun. You have a love story, of course. The love story was nice. You have Henry, which is also, he has his own trouble. It can be a bit triggering if you're depressed. But overall, I really liked it. If you want something reflective about the purpose of life, that's the book for you. I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over again. I haven't filmed in over 2 months. I don't remember how to do it. It's not like I've filmed much before and that I'm that great at it. So anyway, that was the first read. Then I read Down of the North, which is the third book, well, fourth technically because you have a novella, of The Road of Bones. If you don't know what The Road of Bones is, go see my January wrap-up. I think I've talked about it for 10 minutes, about how great I love it and how great it's been written. And if you want to know my in-depth thought about the Down of the North, you have my February vlog, which I just posted before I posted this video. So normally you have access to it and I've done things right. Down of the North, bottom line, is the third book and I love it. You have more point of views, and here the only part that I kind of... My dog just moved the camera, as always. And now I cannot go back to my desk, by the way, because it's just laying down on there. Anyway, Down of the North, you have a bit more point of view, and they had more separate plots. So it was really nice to see everybody dealing with their own issues, and you have, like, they went through so much, but everybody had different things to go through, and at the end of the book you just see how everything comes together. And also what is good is that the book did not end on a huge cliffhanger. You do want to know what's going on next, but it wraps up things kind of nicely, and definitely it prepares you for the fourth and then the fifth and final book. Yeah, I just love this series. I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. You have everything. Everything is there. Like, it's just perfect, and it does deserve 5 books. After that, I thought, you know what? I could read my TBR, or I could just jump into this dystopian that everybody's talking about, and that's how I read Daggermouth. And I read it in 4 days, I think. Also, you have that vlog, the same than Down of the North. It's all there. You have my in-depth thought. I mean, the vlog is so long. You have every single thought I had reading that book. Is it overhyped? No, it's great. I mean, it made me tear up. It was really good. I really liked it. It's very, I want to say it's very fitting about what's going on in the world right now, but let's be honest, it's been fitting about what's been going on for 47 years. It was just great. Yes, it was predictable, but I don't mind. I don't mind the part that was predictable and the part that I was shocked, well, happy I was shocked. And it's a heavy romance though. It's dystopian romance, the romance is heavy. I will say that's a true enemies to lovers, because by the end of the book I'm not sure that it's lovers. And I did, because she became traditionally published in between, and there is finally a book cover that I really like that came out, and I pre-ordered it and I will receive it this summer, and I will do a reread before the second book comes out later this year. I don't know, that will depend how much I remember and if I'm in the right headspace to reread it. I mean, when I rewatched The Handmaid's Tale, the second time was easier than the first, so maybe I can go through it a second time. We'll see. I had such a good beginning of the year reading that my brain had that weird space that I needed something not too happy, but not too complicated, but still entertaining. Like, my brain was just... So from down here, everything gets super messy. First of all, I was listening to the Enchanted Greenhouse audiobook. It's the second book following the spell shop, and I came to the conclusion that I had to DNF this book. I really liked the beginning, but I reached halfway through that book and I'm sorry, but nothing was happening. Just nothing was happening. There are 2 people locked on an island with that greenhouse trying to take care of the plants and saving the plants. Yes, there at some point you get some talking plants, but I mean, it's a cozy fantasy with only 2 people. One of them doesn't like to talk at all. It was too slow. So I guess if you really enjoy plants and are really attached to plants, you have a better time than me. The more I was listening, the more I was getting detached to it. So I decided, okay, I will give it up. That's just not for me. I will listen to the next book, which is Sea of Charm, coming this summer. And apparently she also just recently announced that the 4th book, still following this in the same world, so still following the series, will come, I think, January. And it's something with cheese. I don't remember. I switched to another audiobook, which was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which was a great book. I mean, it's also part of my vlog if you want more in-depth information, but I really liked it. It had really nice found family. It's also cozy fantasy because my audios I do cozy fantasies and Harry Potter so far. The book was really nice, the story was really nice, and she was a dog person, so I was really happy. You have fun family, have magic and getting power with your magic. You have an elderly gay couple, which is just adorable. You have those kids. It was just a good time. It was not my favorite ever because so far my favorite ever still is Rewitch. That also was in my October wrap up, I think. So far that's still my favorite cozy fantasy, but this one was really nice. Then I received those beautiful edition of the darker shade of magic. I mean, it's just, and there is a map also, but I don't know where it is. I mean, look at this, it's just looking so good. The edition is just beautiful, so I started the darker shade of magic, also by Schwab, because I loved Invisible Life of Addie, LaRue. And this one you follow Kale, which for some reason I don't remember can go through 3 existing London that has different, like it's 3 different worlds, and he's one of the very few people who can go between the London. One has magic, one has no magic, and one I don't remember. I'm sorry. But basically you go between the London. You have grey London, white London and red London. And he's working so closely with the kings of all those kingdoms, and I cannot tell you much more because I will be honest with you. I paused halfway through. Like here. I paused here. And the reason I paused is because after Daggermouth I wanted to read something, but this one, you know what? It was not dark enough. It was too light, especially it was February, the weather was not good. I needed something darker than this book. It was almost too happy. And yes, it's still a fantasy, and yes, there is still talk about death, but somehow it was just too light. So I paused it, not DNF'd it, I paused it, and I will come back to it soon, I guess, because I was thinking, you know what, it's more a spring. I feel like it's a spring read. I cannot tell you why, but I feel like it's a spring read. So I will give you a more in-depth review once I finish the trilogy. And actually, I know that afterwards there is another following trilogy coming, and one of them is already out. Then I read Compass and Blade by Rachel Greenlaw. And before I go into my review about Compass and Blade, please let me tell you that I love Rachel Greenlaw. I have the ordeals just here. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I'm disappointed it will be a duology. The second book is coming later this year. I will definitely pre-order it, and I just loved it. I read also in December, in my December wrap-up, as it's a very long title, I can never remember it. The Wood Smoke Woman's Spell Book or something like this. I may have missed one, which again, it's more like Addie LaRue book vibe, so it's slower pace, it's a standalone, and it was beautiful and I loved it. And Compass and Blade, it's her YA trilogy because the last book came out in February. That's why I read it in February. I thought I will just binge all 3 of them. And unfortunately, it's with a heavy heart that this book did not do it for me. It just did not do it for me. I did finish it, but I didn't go on to read the other 2 books. I did try to couple it with audiobook, thinking, okay, maybe if I listen to the story, I will be more gripped by it and more entertained by it. It just did not work. So let me tell you why it did not work, of course. You follow a girl that I cannot remember her name. I'm sorry, I'm awful with names, and I did not prepare this video properly. So you follow a girl who lives in an island where basically they have nothing. They have nothing, and the only way they can survive and get supplies and money and all of those things is by stealing on the ships that are passing by. And she lost her mother, and they're in an island which is part of like a kingdom, or it's part of a country. They have many islands, and here are in her island, that's how they survive. But you still have that, I want to say, kingdom police that is here, and one day they have a new chief and they are just like, yeah, you know what, you are just a bunch of stealers and you are not following the laws, and I don't care, that's the only way for you to survive. I don't like you and I will take you all down. So they arrived and they kidnapped her father and kind of the chief of the band, who is doing all the stealing in the boats. So, okay, sure, why not? And then they said that, okay, now they will go to prison and within 7 days they will be hanged. Okay, great. So what does she do? She goes to look for a box that her dead mother left her, and she finds some coordinates and say, you know what would be a great idea? That I go to those coordinates. I have no idea where they lead, what I will find there, but with 7 days to save my father and that guy, that's the best thing I should do, is to go on a ship and go try to get those coordinates. She's 18, by the way. Why? Like, how this will help you? And you have her friends who are like, oh yeah, sure, that makes sense. We know that you will do this and there is no talking you out of it. So if you think that's the right thing to do, well, just go do it. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't go into the microphone. So, okay, why not? Let's follow her on that journey. And honestly, all the book, I keep thinking, I don't get how anything she's doing will help save her father. And I do have to say that there was a lot of repetition, which is really one of my pet peeves, and I really hate repetition, especially that they tend to repeat not the stuff that my brain forgets. No, they repeat the plot and all the stuff that I remember. But in this case, it was useful that she kept repeating that she was doing all that to save her father and that guy, because I was forgetting about it since it made no sense. Everything she was made no sense on why she was doing this. Then the other thing that I didn't like is basically the book, so it's throughout 7 days, like they got kidnapped, they have 7 days to save them, and so basically it goes through 7 days. And those 7 days, every time, I mean, she's 18, I get it, but come on, she sees a guy and suddenly he has this thing, she has that pull, she doesn't know why, but she has to follow and talk and whatever things she goes in her mind. It's like, it's not because the guy is pretty that you have to listen and follow everything he says. Like, that's not good enough of a reason. It just took me out. If you want something very YA and you don't mind young girl who is insta-lust everybody, every pretty boy she meets, and you don't mind that what she does makes no sense, because I mean, it was a nice story. She met a bunch of people, she's she's on the boat, there is all those creatures that she meets, there is also all the sea world. Like, if you like pirates and boat stories in the sea and all that, that's not the things I gravitate to, but if you like it, then you will have a good time. But just don't expect something epic, you know? Like, if you just want a good time and not overthink it, yes, that probably is for you. Or maybe if you're younger, I don't know. I don't know if I were younger, I would have liked it. I made it through the first book, and then I was, yeah, no, if I have to force myself, and even the audiobook is not helping, the physical, I mean, ebook is not helping, no, that's just not for me. I will keep, of course, reading Rachel Greenlaw, and I know she has a plan afterwards, another YA series and another adult series, so I will keep trying. I will try the next YA. I know she can do beautiful writing, I know she can do good stories and pulling stories, so maybe, I think this, I don't know if it was one of her first novel, so maybe she's still finding her voice, I don't know. I know that there is books of her that I love, so I will keep reading them, but not the Compass and Blade, unfortunately. That's just not for me. Then I tried to read this chunky one here. It's 600 pages, but it looks like it's 1000, but it's just 600 pages. I don't know. So this is The Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Why did I take that book? Because I know she has that series that I cannot recall the name, but that very popular series that has like over 10 books. It's intimidating, you know, to go into a series that has over 10 books and still books are coming out. So I thought, you know what, I will go into her newer adult series. That should be a smart idea. The writing is nice. This one is very much setting it. You follow a sword catcher, which name is also Kel. Yes, I know it's also Kel because it's the same than A Darker Shade of Magic. And basically, he's an orphan that was asked when he was young by the court to be the bodyguard and also double of the prince. So basically, he lives with the prince. He makes appearance of the prince thanks to magic when the prince cannot do a presentation or just doesn't feel like it, and he's also his bodyguard. Oh yeah, and the prince is supposed to think about getting married because, you know, he's a prince, so you have to get married. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because let's be honest, I'm a bit less than halfway through, and it's a lot of setting. It's a lot of political setting, so you're getting to learn how the politic works, how the world works, how the families works. You're getting to know a bit more about the magic as well, actually, which was nice and interesting. You have also multiple point of view. You don't have much romance to what I read so far. You have friendship though, so that's nice. I really did not prepare that video. I'm sorry, it's so messy. I just made a list of all the books I tried to read. Yeah, I know that this book is a lot of setting, and that then there is a second book, which is somewhere behind me, that then has more action, because here you are setting and then everything, the action is coming. I do know that the action was starting to come because you have some contrabands and some magic, and they are getting into some troubles. Oh yeah, and you have that healer. Many things going on, many things, and not much action, a lot of names, and as I said many times, I'm not good with names, and I had to pause. It's not that I don't want to know the rest of the story, it's not that I don't want to finish it, it's just that my brain cannot handle that much setting right now. I don't have the brain energy and memory to appreciate the book. So that's why I paused. And I'm telling you right now, I tried again in March, and just I had too many things to think about. I couldn't remember everybody's problems in this book and everybody's name. So I paused. If you want something that is fast-paced, that's not it. If you want something which is very heavy on politics and court, have some nice magic, and it's a lot of setting before getting into more action, then yes, you will like it. And finally, to finish February, because yes, we are still in February, I read The Dark Forgetting by Kristen Ciccarelli. She's the one who wrote the Crimson Moth duology, and this book was published at the beginning of this year, but it's actually a republishing. It was originally published under the name Edgewood. Wait, where is the name of those woods? Yes, Edgewood. Also, they changed, of course, well, the title and the cover. And you know what? I was very surprised because it was advertised as, see, lush, dark, romantic, very lyrical, whimsical. And the book starts, we follow Emmeline, who is a singer and who is singing at a bar. And I'm like, wait, I was expecting lush folklore and, like, you know, this kind of whimsical setting. I was not expecting a modern setting with a singer in a bar. What's going on here? Especially, I'm not a big fan of modern setting, but she is originally from Edgewood, like not the village next to those woods. And those woods, something weird is going on there. Nobody knows what. There is magic, and you are supposed to do some bargains or some. What is it that you're supposed to do? To offer something to those woods regularly. She is touring because she's a singer. She's touring. She's waiting because she's supposed to be the first part of that very famous band. And suddenly her grandfather, who is still living near those woods, is disappearing. So she goes back home and she goes look for him, and she ends up going to those woods, and those woods are whimsical, and there is magic, and there is weird things going on, and they have their own world, and they have their own kingdom, and they have their own king, and you have bargains with the kings that you can have. So it got very whimsical, but it was a bit weird. Like, you know, you have that modern part and then that whimsical part, and they kind of collide together, and it was a bit weird, but I really liked it. Is it my favorite book ever? No, but it's still very fun, it's still very entertaining. I will have to say that I don't know exactly what he has, but her grandfather has dementia or Alzheimer, or one of those things where he's losing memory. So I'm lucky enough to not know anyone who has that, but just be aware, because there is no trigger warnings or anything, and I think that if you live through that, if you have anybody in your life who has this, it can be very hard to live, and you need to be in the right place, because even though that's not the main focus of the story, and there is many moments we don't talk about it, just know that it's there, and it can catch you by surprise, or I don't know, depending where you are on your journey, that could be triggering. She goes there and she find those people, she find that king, she's trying to bargain with the king because she's persuaded that her grandfather went to those woods and the king has her grandfather, if I remember right. And of course she meet that person. Also she find her friend because she had a friend who she grew up with and she thought she was somewhere else and somehow she's in those woods. You discover many things, I'm sorry I don't remember the details, but it is whimsical even though she is a singer singing in bars and having a cell phone, but you still have that mystical world. The writing is lyrical, it's very easy to read, it's fast-paced, it's really fun read. I will have to say that the ending, if anybody read that book, please let me know what you're thinking about the ending, because I'm a bit weirded out by the ending. It's definitely not something you see coming, and it's definitely not something you've read in any other book. I mean, if there is a single other book that have that kind of twist, please let me know, because so far I've never read a twist like this. So I do recommend, if you like the Crimson Moth and you want something fun. I mean, the Crimson Moth got me out of my reading slump after Spark of the Everflame, and this one after Daggermouth is really the first book I read and finished and got through, and I had a good time. So she has another trilogy I'm keeping for those dark times. Then we go to March. The first book I read in March was Silvercloak, which has still that beautiful, beautiful map. It's a girl that I don't remember her name. Saffron's. So Saffron's parents have been unalived by a bunch of people, and she dedicated her life to infiltrate them. So she didn't dedicate her life to infiltrate. She dedicated her life to become a Silvercloak, and which is basically the police of the kingdom. Then she becomes a Silvercloak and she gets the opportunity to infiltrate the Bloom's Moons. Which is that group of people who are unaliving and stealing, and nobody knows why. What is their purpose? Why are they doing this? Who are they? What they're doing? And so she infiltrates them and trying to get revenge and get the info on, well, why do they do all this? Basically, that's the main plot. I don't like to give away too much about the plot because I like to go in blind. So I'm doing the same for you. But I'm sure if you want more information, you can find it. The book is fun because you have magic with wands, and to use your wands, you need to have at the same time pain and happiness. And you have like, or if you like video games, like just imagine those jars of one full of pain, one full of happiness, and you need to refill them. If not, you cannot use the magic. The world building is interesting, the magic is interesting, the story overall is interesting. It's not like the story that blew my mind. I will go back to it 1,000 times, but I do want to read what's going on next. There is, of course, a love story. She infiltrates and gets with the son of the leader of those groups, where she has to train with him, and like she has to prove loyalty to them, basically, because they know that they're responsible for her parents' death. So why do you want to join us? You crazy. Yeah, the story is interesting. Is it the best enemies to lovers romance story? No, there is chemistry. I do like him. He's definitely morally gray character. The writing is good, is nice, is good spacing. I have to say that even though you get answers on why the Blood Moon group is doing what they're doing, I'm still a bit confused about some of the stuff they're doing and why they have to do it. So hopefully we'll get more answers. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy. I know that Turn Clock is coming in the autumn, so that will be the second book. Sometimes I was just a bit confused about, like, yeah, okay, you want to achieve that, but still, why do you have to do those things to get there? I don't know. It was fun, and also what was fun is that you don't know who to trust. You don't know who will betray who, and who, like for me, I wasn't sure who was parting with who and whose loyalty was to who. So that was the most intriguing part for me. It was who will betray who at which point and how. Yeah, the enemy part to lovers, yes. Did they become lovers a bit fast? It's okay. But then, do they stay lovers? That's the real question. That's pretty much all I can say. It's a fun read. It's nice. It's fun. It's not groundbreaking to me right now. Maybe the other books will make it groundbreaking to me. Or maybe just because I'm in that weird, tired, very picky mood. I don't know. But it's still nice. I mean, if you like Wand, if you like people who infiltrate and morally great people, then you will like it. After that, because I was moving in March, I stopped using my physical books and read only on my Kindle because, you know, easier. So I finished the audiobook of Harry Potter, A Goblet of Fire. Still love the new audiobooks and the narration and everything. It's still great. The Goblet of Fire is still one of the best of the Harry Potter books, so that doesn't change. I did try A Witch Guide to Magical Innkeeping audiobook by the same author than A Society of Very Irregular Witches. I do have to say that I paused it. It seems nice, but I think it was not entertaining enough for my brain, so I will come back to it once my brain is more settled and can handle more. But right now I had to pause it, and then I went to read A Confession of a 40-something F-up. And yes, it's not fantasy at all. It was really nice. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Actually, today on the video, I finished the sequel to that book. It's basically Bridget Jones, but she's smarter, and she's in her 40s, and it was the book is from 2020, so it's more modern, like with the modern issue and modern technology and more modern mindset and everything. And again, we talk about like the book starts, she just broke up with her fiancé, she moved back to London after living for many years in the US. She just had a failed business with her fiancé, and so she goes back to London. She has no place to stay, she has no job, and all her friends, well, they moved on with their lives, they have their husband, their kids and everything, and she's like, I'm so behind in my life and what do I do and everything. So the book was really nice. She meets also very early on a 80 years old woman. It's so interesting when you have older people also perspective and in point of view and life and stuff. So it's very reflective. I mean, reflective. No, it's like, it's a modern day Bridget Jones. So if you like Bridget Jones and you want something which is not heavy on romance, but is talking about all the pressure of getting married and having kids, and should you have kids, do you want kids? And all those subjects, and what do you do with your work life and all that. It was fun. It was nice. I had a good time. Besides that, I tried to read the ebook of The Devil in the Marshalsea. I'm reading the titles there, which was written by the same person that wrote, where are you? The Raven Scholar. So before The Raven Scholar, she wrote that historical crime fiction, and this one I paused again because Darker Shade of Magic was not dark enough. This one was too dark because it's 18th century London, 17th century London, somewhere there. As she stated at the beginning of the book, she wanted to stay true to that time period about the vision of the woman and the relationship between woman and man, and also the writing style and the vocabulary close to that. So this one was too much. Darker Shade of Magic was not dark enough. This one was too dark, real, disturbing. So I paused. I do want to read it. I will go back into it. I just needed my brain to be in a lighter place. In March, I had no patience. If something didn't click, I was moving on. So the next one I was moving on is A Trial of Sorcerer by Addie. I had it on Kindle Unlimited. That's one of the reasons I took Kindle Unlimited, actually. It's nice. It's YA. She's 18, she's been kind of secluded and nobody wants to tell her anything, and they think that she would just mess up. She's at school, and at school she has her brother who everybody loves, and he's the greatest and the best, and they have their uncle, which of course prefers the brother. I don't remember why, but they need to do a trial, and that's pretty much where I stopped reading. It's nice, the writing is nice, the pacing is nice, the story is nice, everything is nice. It was just too YA for me, even though there is no repetition. It was just more YA than my brain could handle at the time because she was a bit too innocent. So I do want to use my Kindle Unlimited that I'm keeping for 1-2 more months to get back into it when my brain is more like, yeah, okay, I'm okay that she's that way, because it seems nice. I'm a bit on the fence because there is 5 books in that series and it seems a bit much. But I don't know because I didn't finish the first book. Then I read The Daughter of No Worlds, which is actually one of the main reasons I took the Kindle Unlimited. And I really had a good time with the first book. It was not at all what I was expecting. Basically, you have that girl who needs to get into... Oh yeah, she's a slave working at a pleasure place. She has that boss, she has that man also that she's meeting. He comes regularly, and he told her about all that other kingdom, that there she could be free and stuff if she managed to get there. So she's working really hard to have enough money to pay her freedom, to not be a slave anymore. And things got messy, and somehow she managed to get to that place, and she's trying to get into that program to have a better life and everything. The program to be some kind of army person, I don't remember exactly. And then she gets to meet that guy who doesn't want to train her, but he's the only one available because it's too late and everything. And that book was really weird for me because it had kind of that cozy fantasy vibe. Like, you know, she spent most of her time in that cottage with that garden, being trained by that guy to handle better her magic. So it was very slow, cozy things, but at the same time, she was a slave. Things were brutal. Things were like, it was very dark world, but the story was at the same time kind of cozy. It was a weird vibe to me. If anybody else read that book, please tell me if I'm the only one. It felt very slow and cozy, you know, in that cottage, and getting to know each other and train on magic between flowers, and at the same time, well, these people unalive those people, and those people unalive those people, and there is slaves and stuff and darkness and assault and all those things, and it's just weird. So yeah, I had a good time with the first book. The second book, well, first there is a trope that went in there that is not my favorite trope, and again, each time I cannot say what trope is this because I don't want to give it away to people who likes it and want to read it. But there is that trope that yeah, I don't like it, and yes, it's more action-packed, and yes, it's more war, and yes, it's more battles. But you know what? I felt like every battle was the same. Every battle you had the same issues. Every battle you had the same trouble. Every battle it was, oh, but I don't want her to get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't know. I disconnected fully. Like, I was nice in my happy little place, learning magic, getting to know each other, getting to know the world of politics, and then suddenly it was fighting, and then again, and then again, and then again, and each time coming back, and I was like, I got tired, so I DNF'd. It's been a month. I don't think about it. I don't want to know what happens next, because, oh yeah, one of the things is all those wars, I had a hard time understanding what was it for, because in other fantasies you get a war, but what's the purpose of that war? Is the purpose to get rid of that corrupted government and that is accepting slavery and is attacking people and all that? So are you in war to get rid of them? But here it felt like they were in a war for one bad government to take over another bad government. So it was like, yeah, so you're fighting for bad guys to get over some other bad guys. What's the point? I don't get it. Yeah, you're fighting for them, but they're as bad as them, so at the end, that lost me. Then I tried again Sword Catcher, as I said, pause again because my brain was really not into it. I did try Blood and Steel. I will not talk about it again. I did not register in my story graph that I read it. I just wanted to put it out there that I read it. I tried to read it, but the main character, she's supposed to be 24, 23, and she's acting like an 8 years old. Then just write an 8 years old, at least a 12 or 14 years old. But she was supposed to be in her mid-20s and she was acting like a kid. That just threw me off. It directly threw me off. I cannot even tell you. She was with her sister, and the interaction with her sister was the same. It was like they were both 8 or something. And it just fully threw me off. And she was in the forest and she saw those magical kind of fae people, and she was watching them, and she was watching another bunch of people that were training to get into some room, some trainings or something, and she wanted to be there, and just the whole thing, it was like she was 12 or 8, and it just threw me off. And then I went to see online, like, is it getting better? And they were saying that the male main interest, he's older, like closer to 30, but he's behaving like he's even older. So you have people which are kind of like similar in age, but one acting like an 8-year-old and one acting like even 40 or 50 years old. And like, yeah, that will just not work for me. I'm already pissed off about that girl. This I cannot do. And they were saying that she's not getting more mature, she's not growing up. And so I was, yeah, okay, I'm just, no, this one is not for me. So I cannot tell you more about the plot and what's going on. I just can tell you that not for me. Then I did read A Forbidden Alchemy, which is a girl. Is it, people say it's kind of Peaky Blinders? I can see part of it. I don't know. Didn't feel that much Peaky Blinders, but okay, if you say so. It does feel industrial London. I mean, England, more than London, but industrial part of the world. It's a girl who all her life she's waiting to turn 12, because at 12 you get to go to the, I forgot the name of the place, but like the main place, to see if you have magic. And if you have magic, you get to stay there and train there and then have a better life, because right now she's living in the mines, so everybody is going nuts working in the mines and the death rate is very high. Basically they are struggling to just stay alive, and they have really hard work for very little to come back. And so she goes there and she meets that guy who is also 12, and he's like, yeah, me, I don't want to be here, I want to go back to my other neighbor, because like she's from kind of another neighboring place, like department state, something like this. And so they meet and they wait together, and then they discover something, and somehow she managed to get in. After she gets in, there is kind of a revolution coming from the people that are working in mines and that are not in that elite place, because, well, they're dying and struggling and they don't have food and anything. So that rebellion is starting while she's at the school. She's not having the great time either at the school, and then at some point she needs to go. One thing I really appreciate throughout the book is that you start with her at 12, and then slowly you reach her to the point where she's, how old is she? Late 20s, late 20s, maybe early 30s, but I think late 20s. And so you go gradually there, and each time you have a glimpse of what happened during that year, but it's not taking each time 100 pages for when she was 14 and 100 pages where she was 18 and stuff. But you do have chapters that you see her gradually grow, and they are very nicely done. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate to see her when she was 12 and growing up to be in her late 20s, even though it was fast because it doesn't take that much time, but at the same time you have enough information to follow her and grow with her. So that I really liked it. The story overall was also very nice. The chemistry between the two people, well, is also nice, because also they met, you know, when they were very young, and then there is later, so it's different dynamic. But she also has boyfriend, and so all that is nice. The politic is nice, with the rebellion is growing and the other people, and the magic is quite interesting. But I do have to say that the book is very easy to follow. Like, you know how Swordcatcher, my brain could not remember everything? Here it's really, really easy to follow. Like, it really flows. And I think the second book, which is coming out this summer, I will listen to audiobook, you know what? Because it's that easy to follow. I mean, it's entertaining and I really like it, and the world is really good, but it's that simple to follow that me, I'm more a visual person, so when things are complex I need to have the words and to be able to picture in my head, but if it comes from audio I have a hard time. But this one I could handle on audio, so I think I will listen to the next one on audio. And yeah, no, it's really nice. It's not my most, I'm not mind blown as much as other people seems to be by that book, but I had a great time. I was intrigued. I wanted to know what was happening next, so it was a good time. This video is too long. Last but not least, I tried Anathema. It's a dark gothic fantasy and it's another DNF for me. The writing was nice, the story seems nice, but I think it's too dark for my taste. Apparently it leans into horror, which is not really my thing. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a thing for gothic to lean to horror, but here apparently later it leans more to horror, and that's not even the thing that bugged me the most. What bugs me is that all the subjects on assault and everything, it was very graphically, rudely showed. Like, I know there is those subject in all the other books I have behind me, but here it was presented in a way that really made me feel uncomfortable. Not triggered, but just, it was not triggering. I don't have those triggers, but it just made me feel uncomfortable. And one thing that really made me feel uncomfortable is that she has that sister and they have that uncle, which is not a blood related uncle. What's the family tree again? They are the son of their grandmother, but that she had before she was married to their grandfather. And the sister has a physical relationship with that uncle. And that just weirded me out so bad. Like, it was, yeah, no, no, that's not for me. The way it was written, the way it was described, like, it was in a way that is just not working for me at all. I don't know if later it goes to dark romance, because I'm not into dark romance. I love seeing the reels and the shorts of people who are in dark romance because I always find them so funny, and I love all these things, serial unaliving and criminal minds. So for me, it's like that dark side that I like to watch. But to read about it, it's just not my genre. And I don't know if the relationship in the romance also leans dark romance or not. I have no idea. But yeah, just those things weird me out. Besides that, the writing was nice. The story seems intriguing. It was just too out of my comfort zone. Too just not my area. And finally, we can wrap up those February and March reads. See, that's why I should not have left. I mean, I should even have made this video in 2 videos, but I wanted to do one big wrap up to catch it up. That video has been too long. That's been everything I read, paused, and DNF'd the last 2 months. As I said, a lot of my brain had so much going on that I was very picky. As soon as something was not clicking, it was nope. So please take everything I say lightly. If any of those books are intriguing you, or the reason that I didn't like it maybe are the reason you would like it, go for it. If you're not sure, go for it, try it, see how you like those books. And that's all. What have you read during the last 2 months? I will finish that video here, and probably pretty soon you will enjoy my April wrap-up. Because we're already middle of April. So I hope you had a good time. If you stayed until here, well, thank you. I don't know how you made it here, but thank you. And I'll see you around in the next video.